This episode of Blow Jam is brought to you by Casper. Go to caspertrial.com/blow and enter promo code SLEEP50 for $50 off any mattress purchase. Hey buddy boys, it's Blow Jam. I'm your host Delia Blow Jam, and on today's episode we have Julian Willard and Jim Mack, the hosts of the podcast Pineal Express. I have this really weird urge to freestyle sing the description of their podcast. So first of all, subscribe to Pineal Express. No, it's not pineapple, it's pineal, like the gland in your brain. And here's what they do. All right. Get it together, Deal. Get it together. Pineal Express is a progressive and educational podcast based out of Binghamton, New York. The podcast features a variety of academics, thinkers, and activists who provide listeners a glimpse of the world through the lens of the field of expertise. Forward-looking and multidisciplinary, Pineal Express touts itself as the place where trains of thought intersect. Amid that intersection, podcast hosts Julian Willard and Jim Mack aim to explore the human potential to solve existential challenges and usher in a better world. And we had a great time. Tito is barking because we're outside, but whatever. We had mad beers and mad fun. You will too. Binghamton podcast crossover. On Blow Jam, we have the best Binghamton podcast, Pineal Express. Co-host Jim Mack.
Yo.
And Julian Willard.
Hello.
Thanks for coming, guys. Oh, and my husband Ryan is sitting beside me.
Hello.
Oh yeah, and you're mic'd.
Yep.
You're at the big boy table. Just one table for one boy, and he better be big. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Me too. I'm so glad. Makes me feel good on my insides and on my outsides. Okay, so your podcast, Pineal Express, please give us, in your own words, how you would describe it to somebody.
Okay. Yeah, Pineal Express is, we basically try and take a look at humanity's most serious collective action problems through an academic, political, and media-focused lens. So we'll have episodes about political issues like mass incarceration. We'll have more academic episodes. We'll have episodes on philosophy. We'll have episodes on journalism as a discipline. And then we'll just have media figures on from other podcasts, and we'll talk about the new media with them and ways that messaging and ways that ideas spread in the new media space. Kind of explore that.
Wow, that's like the whole gamut, man.
We try to keep it pretty varied, yeah.
How do you get your guests? Like, are they people that you seek out, or are they people who kind of come to you, or is it a little of both?
People will come up to me and suggest people, but I normally don't like their suggestions. And oftentimes it's them trying to suggest themselves. Like my sister will be like, "Have me on your podcast." And, no, that nepotism isn't going to work out for me. In terms of, so how do we get our guests? There's a couple of different things that we do. One thing is sometimes we'll be just huge fans of somebody. We had a podcaster, Michael Brooks, on who we've been big fans of for a long time. we had Nomiki Konstan from the Young Turks, and I've been a huge fan of Young Turks for a long time. So that was I was very, very excited to get to talk with her about some things. So that's kind of it. I mean, we'll reach out to people. It's nice when you one thing I pay attention to is who else's media network, so to speak. Like there'll be people that kind of go on each other's podcasts, go on each other's shows, or if they're academics, there'll be people that have collaborated with each other as academics, whether in the same department, whether in the same field, whether they've done papers together, or written books together. It's something I kind of pay attention to, and then we could say, oh, well, we've had your colleague so-and-so on, so maybe you would like to talk about this other thing, and that's something that people, I think, really respond to.
That's cool. Now, Julian, how did you get into this? Was Pineal Express your idea, or was it Jim's, or were you guys talking one night like we should do this thing?
I had the initial idea to start a podcast, but then we kind of came together to sort of hash out how we wanted to go about it. To add on to what Jim was saying, also, the podcast is also kind of just a personal project as a means of kind of like a response to the 2016 election and just kind of the circumstances around how people communicate. It's a lot of fast thinking. It's a lot of instant gratification sort of sharing and the way ideas spread. So for us, we were thinking, not only do we want to explore collective action problems, but also as a means to kind of combat that proclivity to be fast thinkers ourselves, you have to kind of pursue these kind of slow thinking, multi-disciplinary perspectives. So that was kind of also what I wanted to extract from this project was, the actual pursuit itself, the project of doing that itself.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's my response, is that's pretty cool. You guys are fucking smart as fuck. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. Sorry, it's just... Jim.
Yeah.
Julian. How'd you guys meet?
I don't remember. We've known each other for a long time. We've known each other probably, 12 years? So I don't remember.
I mean, we knew each other in high school.
We did not know each other.
Well, we knew of each other in I knew who you were.
I had no idea who you were in high school.
So it's one-sided. I knew who Jim was. That's not
well, he
make
is
it
pretty
sound
legendary.
Like a creepy, outsider observer. But at least mutual friends of ours, Harris, I went to college with him, and I hung out with him a lot after. So I think that's really where we started hanging out more.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend, Harris, who's a professional poker player, and he used to be my roommate also. And so he definitely introduced me to you, Julian.
That's cool. What university did you go to, Julian?
UAlbany.
UAlbany.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. And Jim, were you BU? Did you stay in Binghamton?
Yeah, well, I did a couple years at University of Rochester, but it got super expensive. So I left it and went to BU and graduated with a bachelor's from there. And then I did a little bit of graduate work in Missouri, but really didn't like running the rat race, and found it stressful, and really didn't like what I was doing. So left that.
Yeah. Well, why spend the money and be tethered to that?
Yeah. I mean, that at least. I mean, when it was a clinical psych PhD program, and so they paid me. But not very much, you know what I mean? It's a graduate stipend, and in the social sciences, those are pretty small. And again, I didn't like running that academic rat race, and again, found it super stressful. So I just figured fuck it, get out of the program there, and now I'm doing podcasting stuff.
It's like the opposite. You're free to do what you please, and you are in complete control of your finished product.
I think you're right about that. I mean, there are some transferable skills, some interview skills that one would, learn in a clinical psych setting that I think do apply. But I think you're absolutely right. It's not about searching what's wrong with a person or what could be helped, in a person. It's about a casual conversation and the exchange of ideas, and it's more two-way than a clinical situation. So I think you're right. In many ways, it is the opposite.
And that made me think, holy shit, what did Julian go to school for?
I went for, I was a double major in human biology, which was an interdisciplinary major, so that was anthropology and regular bio, and then psych was my other major. So, pretty much went for that and did pretty good, but at the time I was just not sure what I wanted to do. Honestly, spread myself out a little thin because I was just more intellectually curious than I was practical, let's say. So I didn't know I could have gone for physical therapy or continued psych. I had no idea what I wanted to do, so I just left and actually became a personal trainer. So I took a test for that, and I was doing that for a little bit. And then I worked in a hospital at an acute psychiatric center for a bit. And I took a civil service test, and now I'm an analyst for Social Security and podcasting. So,
oh, nice.
Man, no wonder. Like, this makes perfect sense now, especially like with your psych backgrounds. Like, you're people who are just like, let's try to make some sense out of this, please. That is sweet. I like that.
Yeah, well, I agree with what you said earlier too, Julian, that what we do with Pineal Express really grew out of the nonsense that was the 2016 presidential election. And I don't think our podcast would have happened without it, because we were both hardcore Bernie supporters, and with everything that happened in the primary, and then with just the ridiculousness of the outcome we got in the Trump administration, a lot of it is trying to make sense of how did so many people kind of get duped by conspiracy theories? How did so many people vote against their own interests in a way that it seemed accelerated compared to normal? How are people tolerating these massive shifts in norms and the degradation of institutions? Not that the institutions were healthy to begin with, which was part of the problem, but how are these ideas being spread in the first place? And looking at that, I think our current political moment through an academic lens, and the spread of information, including fake news, through an academic lens, it has been about that. It's been trying to make sense of this and trying to figure out how we move forward from here in order, hopefully, to ascertain how we as a species can be more cooperative instead of this sort of hyper-competitive, tribalistic mode that we're in as a country right now.
Yeah, you focus on the how. Like, a lot of people are just like, what the fuck? And then that's that. But you guys actually try to find out how and find a model and a sample and expand on that. And I'm glad somebody's doing the hard work, because it's just something like you throw up your hands and you're like, these fucking idiots, but it's really not. It takes a lot. So that's what I'm learning. Learn from you guys.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, there is. I mean, I notice the activism takes so many different forms, right? Like, there's people that will stand out in front of, a congressperson's office with an effigy of the president and protest, and I'm sure that has its utility in certain circumstances. I wouldn't knock it, but I also think that in the new media space and just the way that memes work, and the fact that there is a cultural evolution to our preferences, our tastes, our preferred sources of information, our entertainment, the mere fact of that and the fact that that evolves really points to the necessity of, I think, the left really getting involved in the new media space and really winning hearts and minds of people who are largely apolitical. I mean, half of people don't vote, Half of people are, even some of the people that vote do it out of duty and aren't really engaged.
They don't know who they're checking.
Yeah. So it's about spreading ideas.
Well, I understand that, not voting, because it doesn't seem like your vote counts until they get rid of that electoral college. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know.
No.
To a point. I mean, it depends on what office you're voting for, too. Do you know what I mean? Like, so suppose somebody doesn't vote in a presidential election because of that reasonable
on a
stance,
local level, yeah.
But then you miss everything out on the local level, and the people that were committed to vote for whoever are then making your political decisions for you at every other level of government, state down through municipal, and also at the U.S. congressional level. So it's I mean, I think there are major consequences for not being engaged. Which is not to say that we've had great candidates either, and that's another thing. We talk about party politics and corruption in party politics, which I think corruption is a major problem that we face in this country, and we talk about that on the podcast all the time.
Speaking of, political races, things like that, I work next door to the old Goodyear downtown, and that place has been vacant for about 6 months, and I walk past and I see Brindisi for Congress. Oh. And I'm like, who is Brindisi? And then I look at the door and I'm like, DCCC. All right, well, that's cool. Like, fuck Claudia Tenney. Mm-hmm. Like, please get rid of my current congresswoman because she's insane.
She's hiding.
She's hiding.
Yes.
She says that she doesn't do town halls or anything because she has death threats. Nobody's giving her death threats. She's just afraid to face her constituents.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what security is for, number one. And what makes her special over any other politician that does receive death threats.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's like...
So, yeah, keeping that in mind, I'm like, all right, Brindisi, right next door to me. I might start volunteering. So I looked him up. And I'm like, this sounds okay, until I see 100% rating from the NRA for voting down the NY SAFE Act, which was drawn up in response to Sandy Hook. So, yeah, fuck that dude.
Yeah,
I can't catch a break.
I'll certainly vote for him over Tenney, but I could understand your reluctance to volunteer for him because he is, he's not as progressive as I certainly would like, that's for sure. And we do need kind of a new progressive energy in the country because the status quo isn't working. The far right is dangerous. And so what other solutions are people going to come up with, given that so many people are struggling, given that, half the country is in deep poverty? How do we move forward from here? And how do we solve the major collective action problems facing our species? Climate change.
Right.
Are we going to die from are we going to die from the direct or indirect effects of climate change? Suppose we live to be 80 or 90. Suppose there's wars over water, which is not unreasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, yeah. Might be, yeah.
I mean, suppose there's large swaths of currently agrarian land that becomes infertile because of climate change, which again is pretty much on track to happen. You get positive feedback loops, you get the amount of methane that's being released through methane chimneys and then also through agriculture and animal agriculture. And so you got to think, all right, how are we going to come together and solve this? And you've got one political faction that just does not believe in science. So how can it happen given that?
It's insane to me. Like why would you not like oh, I don't believe in climate change. It's like, why wouldn't you just believe it, like, just in case? Like,
yeah. You guys grandkids? Okay.
Like, if you're not sure, it's like, why not just, try to prevent it, like...
People are like, oh, it's a job killer to fight climate change. It's like, oh, you know what another job killer is? Extinction.
Yeah.
It's a pretty bad job killer.
No planet is a job killer.
You do point to a huge problem, though, which is when you try to look for alternatives and you find either such mediocrity or you find somebody that's like one step away from being a Republican, or it just speaks to what we talk about all the time on our show, which is that we've just shifted so far to the right over the past few decades that the only way for the Democrats to really be competitive is to also shift to the right. And so you have that kind of issue all over, obviously in the political domain, but in the cultural, in the sociological consciousness in people's minds. Obama's, to some people, Obama is like a far lefty. Some people call him a socialist. It's
he's
like
a centrist.
Right.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people don't grasp that. And after a while, you get to that situation that we're in, what you're talking about, where 100% NRA rating or whatever.
For you guys, my buddies, the beautiful listeners of Blow Jam, Casper is offering $50 towards any mattress purchase at Casper.com. If you haven't heard of Casper before, you're probably dead. My condolences. But hey, Ghost, Casper, it's a match made in heaven. But seriously, if you haven't heard of it, I'm going to talk to you about it right now, tell you all about it. And if you have heard of it, I'm about to convince you to buy one. Because if you don't have a Casper mattress yet, you really need one. It's going to change your life. You'll feel so well rested. Your back won't hurt as much, if at all. Casper will cure leprosy. They do everything. So let's talk quality. Casper mattress provides resilience and long-lasting supportive comfort. Casper is one of a kind. It's a new hybrid mattress that combines premium memory foam with latex foam. And it's super affordable. Mattresses can often cost well over $1,500, but Casper mattresses cost between $500 for a twin and $950 for a California king-size mattress. That's huge. Trust me, you could fit a lot of people. Don't tell me how I know that. And best of all, it's convenient. So buying a Casper mattress is completely risk-free. They offer free delivery and returns within a 100-day period. It's that simple. Statistically, lying on a bed for 4 minutes in a showroom has zero correlation to whether it's the right bed for you. That's why Casper has turned the buying process into a risk-free experience. They understand the importance of truly buying and trying out a mattress that, in all reality, you're going to spend a third of your life on. That's 33.333% of your life. So, how are you going to get this, guys? I'm going to tell you. Okay, here's a special offer. You're going to visit caspertrial.com/blow and use the promo code 50SLEEP. It used to be SLEEP50, but they changed it on me. Those wily Casper people, I love you so much. You're switching it up. Keep me on my toes. So once again, get $50 towards any mattress purchase by visiting caspertrial.com/blow and use promo code 50SLEEP. Terms and conditions apply. So Jim, Mack,
Yes.
word on the street says that you got some riddles for us.
I do. I write riddles, and I want to see how you guys do. So Julian has not seen these either, so you guys can work together.
Okay.
So I will text you, Delia, and you, Julian, and I don't have your number, Ryan, so I'm
Okay.
sorry about that. But if you look on with Delia, then I'll text the riddles, and Delia, if you'll say them out loud, so that the audience can hear also. You guys can collaborate and see if you can guess the riddles, okay?
Oh, man.
Okay. So I've sent you guys my first riddle.
All right. So then we just go around reading them?
Well, you've all got the same riddle.
Okay.
So if you'll read it out loud, so that the audience can hear, and then you guys can collaborate, see if you get it. People listening can give it a chance to see if they get the right answer.
All right.
And then I will let you know what the right answer is. But you may. I hope that you will solve it.
All right. So does Julian read his first, or?
You've all got the same one.
Oh, we
You
all have
can
the same
collab.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. So born of water, metal, stone, thine cradle and eternal home, first flat, then round, then oval shaped. Once of 9 children, now of 8.
What am I?
Wow.
Tolkien style riddle.
Yeah. I feel like we should be in a hobbit hole.
Point of water, metal, stone. Okay.
Water, metal, stone. Thine cradle and eternal home. First flat, then round, then oval shape. One of 9 children, now of 8.
Fuck.
Damn, dude. Can you make song lyrics out of your riddles? Because this sounds like a good verse right here.
Point of water, metal,
Down, thine cradle and
You guys have my permission to set any of my riddles to music.
oval
shaped. Once of 9 children, now of 8. I feel like a... It'd be like an Iron Maiden song. I don't know.
Man, fuck.
All right, so I'll try to work this out. Born of water, metal, and stone.
Oh! Pluto. Pluto or Earth? Pluto.
Oh!
What's your guess of those two?
Hang
And
on.
you can collab with everybody else.
What's the nine now of 8? Okay, so it's Earth.
It's Earth.
Yeah,
Nice.
because the 9 was
Yep.
Pluto. Pluto's gone. Wow.
Good job.
Nice.
Fuck, that took a minute. Sorry.
All right.
Holy shit.
All right. I've got another one for you. Let me finish typing it out quick.
Okay.
Okay. Almighty me, I end your words, and visit you with bees and birds. I break up time as it were glass, and mark your move from class to class. I gave you life, but make you bleed, and in your golden years shall leave. What am I?
Man.
What do you guys think?
Well, I got it. Did you got it?
Period.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say that sounds.
That was
Yeah,
quick.
that was pretty good.
You
I
guys,
like
that was quick. You guys came to that one quick. All right. So
Well, she said it.
this is my hardest one. All right, ready?
Uh-oh.
This is the last one that I've got for you today.
We're probably not going to get it then.
You type it out real quick. Okay, this one's correctly written.
Okay, here you go, Ryan. You got this.
The birds and bees is just such a like. It's just always the way you say it. So it just, I just
bees
flipped
and
it in my
birds.
mind.
Top-down
is that-
processing.
okay.
Yes. That was fast thinking.
We grow and grow, have no end. Irrational, we sometimes trend. We line up in a perfect row. All of us, you'll never know!
Is it weeds?
Very, very Monty Python inflection. No, it's not weeds. No.
Huh.
Grow and have.
Grow, grow, have no end. Irrational, we sometimes trend. Perfect row, all of us.
Man, this one's tough.
Hmm.
Grow and grow and have no end. Irrational, we sometimes trend. We line up in a perfect row, and all of us, you'll never know.
Nah, I don't know. Fuck.
Take your time with it.
Facts.
I can if you really get stuck, I can give you hints. Nope, not facts.
Fuck. Hmm.
Yeah, I need a hint, unless, yeah.
Grow, grow,
Guys
have
ready
no
for a hint?
end.
All right, we'll take a hint.
Okay, think McGowan.
Oh, okay.
McGowan.
Hashtags?
Nope. That's a reference to
Math.
the
A
three of
math
us.
teacher.
Three of us here had a math teacher, Mr. McGowan,
So that should really help you, Ryan.
Oh,
and
okay.
everybody but you, the hint applies to.
Oh, so math. Okay. We grow and grow and have no end. Irrational. Logarithms?
Data sets?
Nope. It's more general than that.
Algorithms?
Exponents.
Nope.
Calculus?
Think really generally.
Oh, general. Okay.
What type of things is math concerned with?
Numbers.
There you got. You got
Numbers! Yes!
Oh, it's just numbers. Oh.
it. Like irrational.
Irrational
Oh,
numbers.
even though we took a hint,
I'm like,
like I at least
I'm
got
thinking
something
string
out of this. Thank God.
I'm like, I don't know. What's happening?
Not
was
the only
great.
one that didn't get something.
Oh, that is a good one.
Man.
Good job, Jim.
Yeah, dude.
I'm happy you guys answered my riddles 3.
Whenever it's ready.
Whenever you're ready.
What a disaster to not master the fast words that pass by faster that can be cast the answer to the vast world, to spot we're not advanced enough to capture each and every input that seems us it's dreamed up, the scenes of streams of data saved to gray stuff, labels made from fables of days looked from a maze to the plain. It's all a cradle of symbols we're bathed in, gods and satans that came with DNA, the basement of phases, adjacent. Energy, the recipe to wrestle-free, complexity to order. There's not a border. From a distance that's sorta enough to distort the form of you that's cordial. Coordinated stability takes a blue pill to breathe deep and relax. Stacks of traps, loops and dupe to pass for normal stimulation. It's programmed in the simulation. Now I'm out of breath. So I was preparing for a podcast episode, and one of the things I like to do is just go hiking, and they have trails, nature trails, over at Binghamton University. I don't know if you guys have ever gone there.
Yes.
I love it there. I used to run cross country. We would go there, in high school and stuff, so I know the trails pretty well. And this particular person that we were interviewing also has a podcast, so I loaded up a bunch of podcasts, was just listening to them for a while. And so one morning I was like, I can't sleep. I'll go on the nature trails. And it was like 6:30, 6:45 in the morning. So and of course, this time I decide, I'm going to bring a notepad and pen. So usually I'm always like attentive and alert. So, I bring this notepad and pen, and I'm walking for about 45 minutes. I'm really in a groove, really vibing on what this guy's saying and really taking some good notes and pumped about the episode we're about to have. And I'm going up this long hill and I'm writing. And all of a sudden I look up and there is a bear that is 5-10 feet away from me, standing there.
Oh, man.
Black bear. Its head was as big as my shoulder width. Just huge. It literally, I don't know if you guys have seen Westworld at all.
Yeah.
But how they're just this doesn't look like anything to me. That whole thing. That's literally what was in my, it just looked like a giant shape, a boxy shape at first. It took me 4 seconds to realize what it was. And so it's just sitting there, it's just staring at me, and I just freeze and just slowly start backing up, just real slow, for about 5-10 minutes, as slow as I can, and just the bear's just not even moving. And I finally get it so that the bear's 50, 100 feet away, and then I just start running as fast as I can. And some girl was walking on the trail with her dog going up in that direction. I was like, no, don't go in this direction. There is a bear up there.
Whoa!
So
You could have saved a life of a
possibly,
dog and a
right,
human.
because the dog could have just started barking, and it could have just scared the bear. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
So yeah,
That's frightening. I actually have dreams about running into bears in the woods, and it's just the most frightening thing ever. So that happened to you for real. I'm jealous.
Hello, yes, this is Tristine with Amarx Chemical. This message is for Ryan Blackman. I'm calling today in regards to a personal reference check for Benny Jackson. If you could please give me a call back. Our number is 607-772-8784. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.